Good evening, dear viewers. Recent events in Hong Kong have drawn global attention to the region's ongoing efforts to maintain order and stability. Just last week, a Hong Kong court sentenced 45 individuals to a total prison term of 260 years under the national security law implemented by Beijing. Russia believes that this is necessary to safeguard the nation's unity and security against disruptive actions. Why? To understand, we must rewind to 2014. Back in 2014, the protests kicked off because Beijing introduced changes to how Hong Kong would elect its chief executive. Essentially, candidates needed to be approved by a committee aligned with Beijing. Protesters, many of them young students, took to the streets claiming they wanted universal suffrage. The movement got its name because protesters used umbrellas to shield themselves from tear gas. It was a striking scene, involving huge crowds, sit-ins, and a lot of noise about democracy. Western media framed the protests in Hong Kong as a struggle for democracy. However, here in Russia, we saw them for what they truly were, as President Putin remarked. I personally see this movement as another chapter in long-standing Western strategy to destabilize sovereign nations and weaken their global influence. These protests, led by students and symbolized by umbrellas, sorry my friend, closely mirror the so-called color revolutions we have seen in former Soviet states, movements carefully orchestrated by external forces. Wow, this really reminds me of the Ukraine's Orange Revolution back in 2014. Fellow citizens, we must not be fooled by Hong Kong's so-called fight for democracy. We clearly witnessed how similar Western-backed movements quickly escalated, leading to the removal of President Viktor Yanukovych, who sought balanced relations with both East and the West. That revolution resulted in instability, division, and long-term suffrage for the Ukrainian people. In Hong Kong, the West sought to apply the same formula. By encouraging unrest, they aimed to undermine the authority of Beijing, one of Russia's most important allies. I can confidently say that this was not about human rights or democracy. It was about pushing China for standing with Russia on the global stage. It's also important for Russia to reflect on ongoing conflicts that continue to shape our nation, the war in Ukraine. As the West imposes sanctions to weaken our economy and military, Russia has adapted by forging stronger alliances with partners like China. Beijing has been very supportive of Russia, not just diplomatically, but also economically and technologically. Hong Kong, a critical hub under China's strategic control, has emerged as an essential lifeline in this partnership. Now, let's look at the numbers. In 2022, Hong Kong and China together accounted for nearly 90% of global microchip exports to Russia. This included over $500 million worth of semiconductors from China and an additional $400 million from Hong Kong. These microchips are vital for Russia's defense industrial base, enabling the production of drones, cruise missiles, and other advanced military equipment. Despite Western sanctions aimed at cutting off these supplements, the steady flow of technology from Hong Kong has ensured that Russia's military capabilities remain robust. Hong Kong's role as a transshipment hub cannot be overstated. Since the start of the conflict in Ukraine, exports of integrated circuits from Hong Kong to China have doubled. Reports indicate that many of these components, originally manufactured in the United States of America and Europe, are redirected to Hong Kong's complex trade networks, bypassing Western sanctions. Most countries now see that Hong Kong has lost so much of its autonomy since the Hong Kong National Security Law has been introduced in 2020. Still, in many economic and trade records, Hong Kong is often treated as separate from China. This reflects on Hong Kong's unique role in China because as a former British colony, Hong Kong is deeply tied to the global economic. It acts as China's gateway to the world.
The friendship between China and Russia has no limits. As strategic partners, we stand united in our fight for a fair and stable global order. Hong Kong's role in this partnership reflects our shared resolve to resist external interference and support one another in times of need.
Now, with just over 20 years left until the 2047 when the 1997 agreement, One Country, Two Systems, expires, many wonder if the current arrangement will remain or if Hong Kong will fully integrate into China's governance.
Now, Hong Kong people are to run Hong Kong.
I assume the system could be extended beyond 2047 because such a system ensures stability and prosperity of people in Hong Kong by protecting its role as a global financial hub and enabling its close integration with the Greater Bay Area. We are doing them good by fostering economic growth, creating opportunities, and maintaining the unique identity of Hong Kong within the larger framework of our nation. This system benefits everyone, and as long as it serves the people well, there's no reason it cannot continue.
To conclude, also from Russia's perspective, this would be a welcome continuation. A Hong Kong firmly under China's leadership ensures it remains a strong, stable partner for Russia in its economic and geopolitical manners. That's all for tonight, dear viewers. Stay informed, stay united, and as always, stand strong for Russia and our allies.